that period, you had to learn who you were as a man.
Exactly.
To even protect this woman and protect these babies coming in. So, was that conversation hard for you to bring to him? Because
Nope, because I ain't never scared.
you ain't never scared. So tell us about never being scared. Like you wanted him. Like what made you have the intuition to know that? Like man, my husband got to know who he is, or he ain't gonna be able to He ain't gonna be able to provide for me. He ain't gonna be able to help me. He ain't gonna be able to be my 50-50 at times, 60-40 at times. Let me be a 10 sometimes. Let him be a 90. He gotta find out who he is. Like what gave you that intuition? Because a lot of people don't have that, right? Like and when you explain this for me, dive into this point because some people don't have that intuition to know that, oh, it's really not him in terms of where he's at. He just got to dive into something in the past that he didn't fix to be able to help me in this moment of adversity that we're dealing with. Like, what gave you that?
Experience. I've faced a lot of adversity myself before I met him. I myself, when we became like we were dating, you know, I was coming out of a state of depression myself. So I know what it looks like because I've been there. I know when you start to avoid people, you know, and you just don't seem like yourself. It's not what people usually think it is. It's something that's deep rooted that you have pushed down for years and years and years because you feel like nobody really gonna care,
right.
You know? And everybody just so focused on everything that they're doing and what's going on in their lives that you don't want to be a burden to people, you know? So I always say...
How did you go through your healing then? Because did you go to therapy? Did you talk to somebody? Did you just read some self-help books? Did you just watch a bunch of videos? Did you pray? Like, how did you go through your healing?
All of the above. Prayer, God, self-reflection.
Yeah.
I've stood in the mirror for an hour crying my eyes out, talking to myself
and
because...
that was okay, right?
And all of it was good. Do me a favor.
This is very important for me. Because right now, it's a woman out there. It's a man out there that's looking at y'all like, I want to help my spouse, but I need to help myself. And I don't know what to do. Can you say that point one more time for me? What did you do? You said all of above. Just list them out. Just
praying.
Yeah.
Manifestations, affirmations, crying in the mirror.
Yeah.
Crying with myself, crying in my car.
Yeah.
And just, but the first thing you have to do is accept that it's going on. Sometimes people be in denial. No, I ain't depressed. You know, I don't have a drinking problem. I'm not abandoning my spouse. I'm not, we like to try to cover things up, but once you sit in it, it'll come out. And once you let it come out, you say it out loud with your mouth.
Yeah.
And accept it, floodgates. It just opens a whole new door for you.
Look, I told y'all I was coming with some heat today. I told y'all I had a dope couple that I've been waiting to get on this podcast. Like, and this is why I only interview dope couples because they just told you, right? Like, listen, on that flexibility, boy, it's hard to be flexible if you know that you are going through something or your spouse is going through something. So I would say, man, the first gem that I'm already hearing is like, helping yourself be whole. So when you do hit that adversity moment, it's going to be so much sweeter because you're going to be able to work with each other. You're going to be able to communicate with each other. You're going to be able to express with each other in a way that you wouldn't be if you were closed in, right? If you were still like just going through something, right? And so like for me, like that's a gem, y'all. And I don't want y'all to miss that because I want y'all to be able to tie that flexibility piece in with the self-development of yourself. You won't be able to fight for that. This is what I'm hearing, and I'm learning this, and y'all making me want to go back home and work on myself. You won't be able to fight for that moment to be able to stay in a fight if you got to give 90% for a period of time. If y'all not like growing. Working on y'all.
If the 100 is not worth it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But if it is, it is.
I got a question for you that I think a lot of people, LaMonica, that I think a lot of people would benefit off, which is, and I asked your husband, he broke it down from a deep level, right? He didn't even really give me what he told you. He just told me like, yo, I had to work on me, right? Like I had to get self right to even be that support system with my wife. But like, and everybody's relationship is different. I get that. but some things are similar across every relationship.
Right.
What did he give you in the moment when he lost his job? Because you talked about flexibility. That's like, yo, you probably giving 85, maybe 90, maybe 95 because you pregnant. Like, men can't relate to that. Like, I don't care what no men say. We can be empathetic. We can have sympathy, but y'all, you have to bear the child, and that's a weight that we can never envision because it has never been done in history, and it's not designed like that, right? So for you to have a child already, having another child inside you, and then have to work, and then your husband doesn't work. What did you see in him, or what did he say to you that was like, okay, I can be flexible with this man? Because it's somebody that's watching this is like, I don't know if I can be flexible with this man or this woman. So what are some traits, some qualities, some thought processes that he gave you that allowed you to be like, yeah, I can be flexible with him?
Well, Matthew has very good morals. That's one of the first things that really stuck out about him to me. He was raised well, he was taught well. He never really was like a person to run the streets or anything. Like, he never seemed like a shiesty person to me. He was respectful. He knew how to speak to people. That really stands out for me because I feel like, our generation and the younger generation, they could care less a grown woman standing right there. They're going to say what they say, do what they do. I like the way he moved. But as far as in that moment, where I communicated to him what I needed, first of all, and he heard me. He didn't just, he listened. He wasn't just hearing me and it's going in one ear and out the other. And he took me seriously. Because I am the type of woman, if it's not working, I'm better off parting ways with you and being happy that way. I know we got the kids or whatever, but they're better off seeing us separated and happy than together and miserable, So I think when I laid those expectations with him, he just made a promise to me and it was action behind it, because words with no actions don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
So it was the action behind the words. It wasn't just a promise or I'm going to get better or things are going to change. It was action behind it.
Hey, this, like, I always got a segment during the podcast. This is a gym alert. Gym alert. I gotta give you some, because this might be the podcast right here. What she just gave you, it might be something that you can take back to your relationship. And I'm coming back to Matt with some questions. But she just gave you something that I want you to really process. I asked her a deep question. I said, for those people who are struggling in the area of trying to figure out if they want to be flexible, if they want to give the 90% and let the other spouse catch up. She gave you really the blueprint. She said, listen, see who the person is, like the totality of them. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Matt he had intangibles to him that you was like, y'all, this is just a situation. But his intangibles, like, he's caring, he's loving, he is supportive. Mm-hmm. He's grounded. Like, he not like just want to be on the block with his homies all day. Like, he really is a family man, and we just going through a situation. That's important, ladies. That's important, gentlemen. Look. It might just be the situation and not the person. Mm-hmm. And that's what I heard you say.
And when it's the person, believe them. Don't sit in. If you're not seeing no action behind anything that the person is telling you, believe them. And act accordingly, please. Because I think sometimes I see people sit in relationships way too long and they know they unhappy. They know the person has hurt them 100 times and there's been no effort. And you just sitting there, oh, maybe one day it'll happen. It's not happening. It's time to move around.
And she on fire, y'all. She said she was coming with that heat today, and I believe her. Hey,